Extra focus right here. You come back. Hey guys, welcome to a new live session from NZ Pocket Guide. It is our live session 115. It is the 21st of February 2021. Oh, time passes. And a lot of things is happening today. So first up, it's International Muffin Day. So that's quite yummy.
Is that why you made me make muffins yesterday?
Did I force you to make muffin yesterday?
Pretty much.
Wow. So International Muffin Day today. It is also International Handcuff Day, which is kinky. And it's also International Love Your Pet Day, which is cute. So there is some young stuff, some kinky stuff, some cute stuff. Here you go. It is a day to remember. But there has been some news in New Zealand as well. Yesterday, I think it's yesterday, we started giving vaccine to frontline workers for COVID-19. So that's pretty big news. It's called COVID-19 vaccine in New Zealand, which have been given so far. So that's our first step toward a recovery, hopefully. That doesn't mean that there is big updates for Laura is playing Tetris right now and she's not doing well. That doesn't mean that there is big update for visitors coming to New Zealand. At the moment, all the policies are staying exact same. But if you do have some questions, we can cover a bit of that. But again, no new news. So I will always refer you guys to our previous videos. Today, we're going to have some questions for some people that actually send us some questions in the comment section of our videos. Because if you don't catch it live, you can always put your question in the comment section of any of our videos, and we pick them up, and we are always here to help you. You should swap. But aside from that, Laura is actually not doing so bad. She's keep fighting. She's in the last 7 of Tetris 99, so she's about to beat a bunch of people, which is quite cool. Very distracting for trying to say hi to you guys.
Yeah,
and
no, I thought
yourself.
I'd be dead by now.
Anyway, we kind of are the experts of traveling in New Zealand. Why? Because we are the team behind NZPocketGuide.com, which is right here. It is the largest travel guide to New Zealand. It's written by Laura and I. I think I did hit every single one of the points that we needed to hit, and Laura finished 6 out of 99 people. So that's not terrible. That's a pretty good score.
That's not too bad.
Anyway, stop with the distraction, Laura. Let's say hi to everybody in the comments. So obviously, if you're live, you put your question in the comments, so it's better. Mohan Diva says hi. So I like that, just a classic hi. How are you doing, Mohan? We have Anthony Comstock, which says Morena from California in the USA. If you guys don't know, Morena means morning in Maori, which is the local indigenous language here in New Zealand. And we have Robert Laliberte, which says, judging by your haircut, maybe it should be Kill Your Barber Day.
Oh, his barber is me.
Wow, I love that comment. I think this is the best comment we've received in a very long time.
Well, that's just been a reality hit for myself. So maybe you should have worn that.
I told Laura, she gave me a buzz cut, right? And I told her, I said, should I put a hat? Should I put a cap on for just a little bit? And she said, no, it really looked good. Like, I just, I did it well this time. And
obviously not.
First comment is Kill Your Barber Day. I love it. I really love it. And Kiwi Lauren says, hi, team. And it says, Robert is a rude one today. No, he's not. I love that. All right.
It said what Robin has been dying to say for days.
I love it. All right. So, while you guys get warmed up and give us some questions in the comment of the video or right now in the live chat, we'll go through a question that we received during the week. And this is a question from Charlie Friel. And Charlie Friel say, hey, at NZ Pocket Guide. So I've put my top IDs, food, etc. below. We have 35 days and 10 of them will be in Christchurch with cousins for Christmas. Mostly campervanning or hostels. I would love your thoughts on what else we should add. And he has fish and chips in Wanaka, Hoki Poki ice cream, Jaffa, hangi with cooked kumara, Ferg burger in Queenstown, whale watching in Kaikoura, DIY walking tour in Renwick, kayak hire in Abel Tasman, the Maria Falls, Cape Falwin Walk and the Seal Colony, Hokitikagor, past French Joseph thermal pools, bungee jump in Queenstown and stargazing in Lake Tekapo and visiting Lake Pukaki. All right, so here's how we're going to be doing this video. We decided to approach it a little bit differently. It looks like you're really into your food, Charlie. So I think what we should give you is more food options. So like that, it will add some dots to your map, and then you'll be able to research on NZ Pocket Guide and check out if there are any other places you have to check out in those areas. But first, before I do that, I'm just going to go over some of the items that you have on your list and give you just a bit of an impression, a bit of a take on those. And then Laura will add some items onto your list. All right. So first up, you have fish and chips in Wanaka. Wanaka is quite central. It's kind of like one of the towns which is the furthest away, I'd say, from the coast than any other town that
it's quite ironic to have fish and chips there, really.
So it's so far away from the coast and everything that, you're probably going to have fish which will have been, frozen and transported. It's not going to be the freshest things. So I wouldn't have fish and chips in Wanaka. You can have fish and chips in pretty much every seaside town of New Zealand. I feel like having it in Wanaka is a little bit of a miss. So have it anywhere on the west coast of the South Island if you want. If you base yourself in Christchurch, you can have awesome fish and chips in the little town of Littletown. You can go to New Brighton. You can go to Akarora. All those places will have super fresh and awesome fish and chips. You're planning on going to Kaikoura, you're going to have amazing fish and chips in Kaikoura as well. So any of those places which are literally on the coastline of New Zealand would be, in my opinion, better spots for fish and chips. You were talking about Hoki Poki ice cream. You can have Hoki Poki ice cream pretty much everywhere in New Zealand. Let's be honest, there is it's on offer everywhere.
Wherever they sell ice cream, basically, yeah.
If I was to recommend you one, and the name just skipped my mind. No, yeah, here you go. Giapo in Auckland. They do some really awesome ice cream over there. So it's called Giapo. Yeah. It's in Auckland Central. You want to get some Jaffa, which are like orange, round, very hard chocolate. You can get that from any supermarket. So when you stop by for a bit of grocery shopping,
pick them up.
Yeah. You want to have a hangi with cooked kumara. So pretty much every hangi comes with kumara. And if you guys don't know what kumara is, it's the Maori sweet potato. It's really good. And hangi is basically food cooked underground. The best place to experience hangi will be in the town of Rotorua, which is on the north island of New Zealand. You can have that as part of evening Maori tours, such as Mitai and Tamaki Maori Village. We're moving on.
Burger.
No, I don't have any comments on Burger. You will add some stuff. I saw that you wrote that down, so we're good. Yeah. I have a comment for your DIY walking tour in Renwick. So it's so if you guys don't know where Renwick is, it's when Renwick is. It's in the heart of the Marlborough region, where you have some awesome wines over there. It's near the town of Blenheim, if you were to place it on the map. So it's on the top of the South Island of New Zealand. And I wouldn't recommend you to do a walking tour because the wineries are significantly far apart. So at the least expensive, you could do a biking tour if you want, or you can take a guided tour which takes you in a shuttle and everything. We have video on the channel of us doing that. We actually have a video on the channel of us doing all those things. But I wouldn't recommend walking. I think you're not going to have such a good time. The roads is not necessarily walking friendly because you literally just have a ditch, and like all the roads, they just have a ditch on the side. So you don't have like footpaths for people. So the cars are driving quite fast. And also you're quite far away. So I wouldn't do that. And finally, my last point that I have for you is when you do kayak hire in Abel Tasman, stop at there's kind of food truck / eatery called Tui Burgers. And you want to try this one out. Yep. Since you're into food. Okay, now you wanted us to add some stuff onto your itinerary, and that's Laura's area of expertise right here. So she's going to give you plenty of inspiration of stuff to add.
Okay, so since you are planning to go to Queenstown anyway and get a Ferg burger, another thing that I would suggest to do there is go to Eric's Fish and Chips, which is kind of like a fish and chip food truck there, but not just to get fish and chips there, but you definitely need to try the deep fried kiwi fruit. I mean, kiwi fruits are kind of big in New Zealand. They're grown. So try a deep fried one. They're interestingly they are. But they are pretty good.
Everything deep fried is pretty good.
Yeah, that's true. You're doing good by deep frying it. Next thing you should try when you are going into the supermarkets to get your Jaffas or whatever is some L&P, which is the New Zealand soda, basically. It's a bit of a sweeter lemonade, and you can go into any supermarket or any convenience store and get some. Otherwise, you can go to the town of Pairoa, which is actually where the drink originated from, and they have a giant statue to commemorate commemorate that. So you can go get your photo taken.
I'm just going to add something. The LNP tastes exactly the same. Should you drink it in Pyro or buy it in the supermarket on the South Island? It's absolutely fine.
Yeah. Another thing you should do while you're on your seafood hunt is in Kaikoura, you should try some crayfish. It's pretty expensive. It's probably the most expensive seafood you can find in New Zealand, but you can buy them in halves as well if you don't want to pay the full $80 or whatever it is for a full crayfish. But yeah, that's it's kind of known as the crayfish capital, so that's the place to go and try some in Kaikoura. Another seafood thing to try in New Zealand is bluff oysters. Although they are taken from right down at the bottom of the South Island in Bluff, you don't actually have to travel all the way down there. You can find them basically in the Southland or Otago region pretty easily. So on the menus in Queenstown or in Invercargill, for instance, you will occasionally find bluff oysters on the menu. So that's worth a try. Another thing to try is kina. The way that we actually tried this, although we couldn't really find it on the menus anywhere.
No, it's hard to find.
I was going to say, I think there is maybe on the west coast of the South Island, there are a few like kind of specialty fish and chip shops that do that. But the way we experienced it while traveling around New Zealand is in the Bay of Islands. There's various different tours like scuba diving tours or the rock adventure cruise, for example, which take you snorkeling, and you basically go diving for kina and you get to eat it as part of the experience. So that's another way to experience food. Another thing on the menu that's kind of New Zealand food is a kiwi burger. And what makes it a kiwi burger is that it also, as well as your normal sort of burger patty and lettuce and all that, it also has fried egg and beetroots. So if you want to try that combination, that is kind of known as a kiwi burger, and you'll find that on menus at most restaurants around New Zealand. Okay, and next, pavlova. If you see that on the menu, that's always worth a try. It's basically meringue with lots of whipped cream and fresh fruit. It's very refreshing. Also, manuka honey is a big thing in New Zealand, is really famous, and you can find that in supermarkets. You can also go to places like the Hooker Honey Hive, which is in Taupo, and that's like a place where you can taste lots of different honeys. But otherwise, occasionally while you're driving down the road, you'll see big signs saying honey and like pointing somewhere, and then you can go and try some honey there. And it's pretty easy to find around the country. Another seafood-related thing are power fritters. You can find these at some of the fish and chip shops along the west coast of the South Island. Also, another good place to try that is at the Auckland Fish Market. So yeah, and finally on our list are savoury pies. They're
about that big.
Yeah. About that big. And you can find them at most gas stations and convenience stores around the country, but it's usually better to go to an actual bakery to try them because they usually use sort of better ingredients and things. One of our recommendations, I think, would be the Fairley Bakery. It's some of the best.
Which is perfect since he wants to go stargazing in Tekapo and Lake Pukaki and everything. You're going to drive by Fairley.
Yeah, Fairley's just outside of Lake Tekapo, so definitely stop by the Fairley Bakery to try one of their famous savory pies, and we do have a video on the channel of us trying said savory pie, so go check that out.
I think it's the bakery that won the most award in New Zealand, I think. Or
probably. Well, they should have.
they are absolutely amazing. We had like crackling pork. That was really good. That was really awesome. All right, so that's our recommendation for like foodie things to add to your itinerary, Charlie. I hope that this made your itinerary even longer. If you do have any follow-up questions, you can leave them in the comment of this video. We do this live session every single week, so you can join us. It's at 8 a.m. on Sunday, New Zealand time. And yeah, this was recorded live. And in the meantime, we go back to the live chat. Okay, a lot has been happening on the live chat. We have Michael Connell. I don't know if you guys remember, but Michael was chatting with us, for the last few months, and telling us that he was preparing his trip on the South Island of New Zealand. He's a local from the North Island, and guess what? He is on his trip to the South, around the South Island. He's in sunny Mount Cook, and he says that there are inquisitive Kias around.
Oh, so jealous. I love Kias.
Yeah, so if you guys don't know what Kias are, they are the world's only alpine parrot, if I'm correct.
That is true,
and they are very, very cheeky birds. So they're known to kind of go to cars and try to, get some pieces of the car out, like the rubbers and everything. They're very playful, very cheeky. It's
very cute.
Yeah, very, very cute cheeky Kias. Kiwi Lauren says, random question, but does New Zealand have any ghost story or ghost tours? Anywhere supposedly haunted? I think that it would be cool to check out if so. We actually do have our list of like the scary places of New Zealand, which some of them have ghost stories and everything. They are on nzpocketguide.com. A couple that come to mind actually is... in Napier, there is the Napier prison, which has like a lot of, you can do tours there and there's a lot of stories around it. And there are actually ghosts and paranormal tours in Auckland. I don't think they run them anymore in Wellington, and I know they're still running in Dunedin. So here you go.
And well, at the Napier prison as well, they were doing sort of monthly ghost tours as well. So that's the sort of activity that you usually find like not happening daily. It's usually like a monthly event.
Yeah. You've got to plan around it.
Yes, yeah.
Clay Bryant says, good morning. How are you doing, Clay? All the way in Dunedin. Tell me if I'm correct, by the way, about the ghost tours. They're still running. Have you ever done the ghost tours in Dunedin? If you guys don't know, Clay is in Dunedin.
I was just going to say, I guess if they would do them in Dunedin, they do them in Lanark Castle. I hear that the guided tour is kind of, they do talk about the family that used to be there and the scandals that used to happen and all this sort of stuff. So I guess that's kind of close to, not quite ghost, but sort of like, I don't know, the spirit of the, the wife lives on. Anyway, continue.
Okay, that's ghostly gossip by Laura.
Yeah.
Wajid Mohammed says, is immigration taking November intake in 2021? So there has been no announcement on that, so we are not sure. I think you're talking about students since you said the word intake. There has been no information on that just yet, so we stick to our prediction, which is going to be at the earliest is going to be November, December 2021, but most likely to be in 2022. But that's just as far as we know just yet. Obviously, as soon as we have some news, we post them on the channel. We do that all the time. Abby is back. Hey guys, he says, was sick last week, resumed the watching again though. I'm in Gisborne right now. Oh wow. Nice. You are, well, not too, no, you're not so close to the end. I was about to say you're almost done, but no, you're not. There's still a good chunk of videos to watch. But yeah, did you see us check out some
Stingray?
Stingray, that's the word I was looking for. Did you see us checking out the Stingray yet or not yet? Merv Y says, what about the working holiday visa? Okay, it was just a joke. I lost my hope about it. I hope you both are fine. Best regards. Don't lose your hope. It will resume. It's just we don't know when, but it will resume. I don't see New Zealand resuming its tourism industry without working holiday makers, which are the people that goes on a working holiday visa. So I think it will resume. We just don't know when. 2022, we think.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Sam Smith say, good morning, awesome experts. Oh, awesome expert. Oh. That's nice. Sam from Sydney here. He says, long-time fan, and after 5 visits over 18 years, I'm planning to move to the South Island in 2023. Oh, nice. That's nice. He says, what are the road trip highlights between Picton and Nelson? Fun winding roads and scenic view are... Thank you. Okay. Highlight between Picton and Nelson, Laura.
Yeah, I would go to the Pelleris Bridge Scenic Reserve on the way there. It's a place where some of the Hobbit from like the Lord of the Rings, the Hobbit movies were filmed. You can go and there's loads of different really scenic walks around the area. Also, there's a kayak tour there, so you can go to like the actual filming locations and go kayaking on a beautiful river.
We've done a video about that, so you can check it out. If you're on a big detour, you can go to French Pass as well.
Yes, that is a big detour. Yeah. So down.
Well, that's pretty awesome, though.
Yeah,
I mean, thinking about the detour that I would like to do, I will definitely. If I was doing that way, I would go to French Pass again.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really off the beaten track. Just the drive first to Okiwi Bay is really nice. It's just like a really tiny settlement, but they do have a holiday park there and kayak hire and stuff.
Yeah, say hi to Ian at the holiday park for us.
Yeah, and then from there you take it's a bit of a gravel road over a peninsula with just beautiful scenery all around, and you can go to various different short walks. And on the way there, you also get to see the French Pass whirlpools. There's a bit of a lookout to go and check out the rush of current from the ocean squeezing between D'Urville Island and French Pass, which makes all these whirlpools, which is pretty crazy and really fun to see. So that's a really cool road trip. And at the end, there's a campsite there if you are camping. Otherwise, you can take a boat trip out to D'Urville Island, where they do have accommodation over there.
Yeah. And if you guys don't know what we're talking about when we talk about whirlpool, just literally type whirlpool and then NZ Pocket Guide on YouTube, and you'll find us actually checking out those whirlpools. And yeah, kind of interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Wajin Mohammed says, are you people pretty sure about the February intake in 2022? Absolutely not. It's only predictions. We have no idea. There could be another outbreak. The borders could be closed for another 2 years for all we know. So absolutely not. Those were predictions. So this is just what our guts tells us. But I will not put any money on it. If you were to give me $10 and tell me you can make $100 if you if you're right, do you want to bet or do you keep the $10? I keep the $10. So no, not sure at all. But it's kind of like, yeah, that's our prediction.
Yeah.
And I like to be right. I mean, obviously, I like to be wrong, and I like things to open earlier. To be quite fair, that's what I would prefer. Clay says, Lauren, in Dunedin, Dunedin has a few ghost story tours. Oh, here you go. Reassuring me that I wasn't too wrong right here. He says he's not sure they are, though, and at Halloween time, there is part of Dunedin old building that opened for the tours. I know the stories never been. Oh, interesting.
Cool.
And Kiwi Lorraine is sharing a story about crayfish dinner that we were talking about earlier on. And she said, my dad ate a $100 crayfish dinner at the White Moth restaurant in Kaikoura in 2004. I took a picture of the sign in 2007, but you won't catch me eating anything that ever swam. And a bunch of emojis with, there's crayfish, there's crabs, there's shrimps.
And then there's her being sick at the end.
Extreme Talota says, Morena, how are you doing? Michael Mariano says, good morning, everyone. Aloha, Michael. How are you doing? Thanks for all the emojis. Sam Smith says, what are the best car museum in the north and the south, Anna and Laura?
Well, the best car museum I think that we've been to is definitely the Bill Richardson Transport World in Invercargill.
All the way at the bottom of the South Island.
All the way down at the bottom of the South Island, yes. So this place is huge. There's various different huge warehouses with cars that have been restored, like vintage cars that have been restored, but all sorts of everything to do with cars and vehicles is just like, that's the place to go. That's definitely at the top of our list. But there's loads of different vehicle museums around the country. There's one on the Kapiti coast, which is just above Wellington. There's a police museum in Porirua, which has police cars
there's
above
one in
Wellington
Nelson as well.
Yes, there's a classics car museum in Nelson, which is at the top of the South Island.
But I'll be honest, for having been in quite a few of those museums, they all pale in comparison of the scale of the Bill Richardson Museum.
Yeah.
So if I can just kind of give you a recommendation, it's really that one in Invercargill. If you're really into cars, that's the thing that you're going to enjoy the most. Like, it's just so large. There's so much to see there. So I feel like it's going to be, I think it's going to be the one
to
that
go
you prefer.
to. Yeah.
Michael Connell says, he found one of the best pie ever in the Peel Forest Cafe, the Green Man, corn, silver sides, and mashed potato pie. He says, then he talks about the parrots, the Kia. He says he's woke up 3 of them were on the roof of the camper van, sticking their head off the root vent, looking in. That's classic Kia.
Cool. Yeah.
Interesting. We've been to the Peel Forest. I don't think we stopped in the cafe.
No, we didn't stop at the cafe. Yeah. For those of you who don't know, the Peel Forest is near the town of Geraldine, it's between Christchurch and Lake Tekapo.
It's not too far from Fairlie, to be quite fair.
Yeah,
they're good in pies.
Yeah,
they're good in pies in this area.
That's true. Yeah.
Clay says, I have many yarns about Lana Castle. I am not a believer in that stuff, but some are from good mate, and I'd like to think they aren't full of it. Yeah. It's a made up castle, let's be honest. You know what I mean? It doesn't have that much history over there. Lana Castle.
How dare you?
It's New Zealand. I mean, like half of the castles around the world are twice the age of that one. So Michael Connell says, I missed last week's story because he was in Morworth Station with no reception. I told you there would be no reception over there.
How was Morworth Station? Tell us more about how it was over there.
Clay also talk about Fortune Theatre, Northern Cemetery, and the Old Asylum in Seacliff are a couple of other places around Dunedin.
Oh, the old asylum.
Yeah.
That sounds spooky.
Kiwi Lauren says, pub trivia is one of my favorite memories of living in New Zealand. Is it a common thing all around the country, in big cities or small towns still? I can't wait to do it again sometimes. Yeah, there is still pub quiz Litty all the time. Even where we live, in the Facebook groups of like the local Facebook group, they say pub quiz tonight. Pub quiz is still happening. Like it's a weekly thing, at least. I think most pub have one pub quiz a week, at least. But they're always so obscure. Like for us, we're really terrible at it because they're usually obscure, like who scored 13 tries in the Waikato Cup of rugby in 1993 and then was knighted by the Queen. And it's like, who is that person?
We're probably not the best audience for their New Zealand sports quiz.
Yeah. So at that point, we just don't have the common knowledge that will allow us to fare well at the quiz. So we go to the quiz for the ambience. We don't go there for having any shot at winning, to be quite fair. Abby says, so he's watching our 365 days. So if you guys don't know, we've done a video series when we started this channel called New Zealand's Biggest Gap Year, where we challenged ourselves to do 365 activities all around New Zealand in 365 days. And we have videos of every single day on the channel. So, if you guys feel like you want to travel New Zealand, you can watch that and you'll have fun. And Abby has been watching New Zealand's Biggest Gap Year for quite a while right now. He says, I'm going to watch them all. So here you go. So right now we went all the way down the North Island. We did a whole loop in the South Island. Now we're going back up. And he is with us in Gisborne, which is kind of interesting. And he says, yes, you just fed the stingray, but damn, a lot of wine on the East Coast, though. Every other video was like about wine. I didn't know New Zealand was a wine country. Yeah, they do like their wine here.
Yes.
I have to be honest. So a lot of wineries that we did visit. It makes us happy. After about an hour and a half within every single one of the tours, we get really happy with wine. I don't know why.
There's something in that wine.
Sam Smith is replying to you. Laura, he says, I didn't know there was Lord of the Rings tours between Picton and Nelson. Thanks. What was your favorite Lord of the Rings tour in New Zealand?
Ooh, well, one that sticks out to my mind was in Pio, which is actually just south of Waitomo. It's also actually a Hobbit filming location. And there's this lady with a farm where the Hobbit was filmed, and she does a really cool tour around there to actually some really amazing natural sort of limestone cliffs and stuff. But she can actually take you to the very places where the markers were still on the ground from when they were filming, and she can show you the photos of exactly where it was on the movie compared to where we were stood at that moment. And there's lots of opportunity for props and costume and stuff to get some really geeky photos. That's one that stands out to my mind. Do you have a Lord of the Rings tour that was your favorite?
I have to say it was the Pelorus Sound, the one we just talked about. So the kayaking tour on the Pelorus Sound, because the scenery was like really, really, really amazing. Even, like Lord of the Rings or not, I'm not necessarily a mega fan of the Lord of the Rings, but the scenery was really cool. I really had fun. The kayaks were super comfortable because there was blow-up kayaks as well, which is quite rare. I'm too lanky and too big for kayaks, so usually I'm never really super comfortable in a kayak. So yeah, I did really like that. I did also enjoy walking the Tongariro Crossing, which is basically Mordor from the Lord of the Rings. So that would be those things. They're not necessarily specifically Lord of the Rings tour, but they are Lord of the Rings locations which I really did enjoy visiting. We are Memphis to Felix. Oh, I probably destroyed that name. I'm sorry, but he or she said, "Hi, greeting from Germany. Guten Morgen in Germany," and says, "Are there any kiwi fruit farm worth visiting in the end of 2023?" So kiwi fruit farms. So if you go to the town of Te Puke, there is literally it's kind of like the kiwi fruit capital of New Zealand. There is some little kind of visitor center with some stuff to visit there. But usually you don't really visit kiwi fruit farm. It's more like
you go there to work.
Exactly, you go there to work for the kiwi fruit farm. So you may want to check out the video that we have on the channel when we actually do kiwi fruit picking, and then we go to the factory that kind of place everything everywhere. And so I will go to Tape UK and I will check out the place over there. There is one tour that takes you to some farms and everything like that from the Tape UK Visitor Center, but that's basically it. Tape UK, TE space PUKE. That's the name of the town in New Zealand, and we have a full guide of Tape UK on nzpocketguide.com. It's all free to check out, so check it out. Sam Smith says, what was your favorite meal of your 365 days tour? The absolute best one. Thanks.
Favorite meal?
Ooh. Should I go first?
Yeah, you go first.
Well, you were talking about Lord of the Rings experiences. I think one of my favorite meals was when we did the evening meal in Hobbiton. So I have to say, for the price, it is extremely, extremely expensive. So I'm not saying I recommend it straight away, like blindly and everything, but it was kind of like those really big Lord of the Rings style banquet with so much food on the table and ton of awesome food. Plus, you are in Hobbiton at night, with all the beautiful lights and everything like that. The whole experience, I felt like I just stepped into a fantasy world for the evening, and I was just, eating with all the night after going to pillage the local village or some stuff like that. You know what I mean? So
you didn't feel like a hobbit. You felt like a medieval sort of
It felt
soldier.
medieval. Let's be honest. It felt medieval. It felt like castle.
Does.
It was this kind of thing. So it really felt like the meal came with a complete different experience. It takes you out of your real world, and the food is good and plentiful, which is always cool. But it really takes you completely out of everyday life, and I think that was really awesome. So I don't know, when you asked the question, that's the first thing that came up to my mind. I'm not saying that was the best food. Honestly, we had some amazing food in many places, but that's the one that kind of ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
What about you?
I think for me, because we were just talking about French Pass and Derval Island, I really enjoyed when we were going between French Pass and Derval Island to go to the Derval Island Wilderness Resort, and our hosts there, just on the way, they were like, oh, shall we just fish up some blue cod for dinner? And we're like, okay. And then, basically blue cod flew onto our lines and basically...
Yeah, honestly, we put the line, sometimes you have to edit things when you do videos. On this one, I barely had to cut. Like, we put the line in the water and then, woo, there was a blue cod straight away. It was absolutely amazing.
So, we got to experience fishing, but we only got what we needed. We didn't get too much or anything. We just got what we needed for the meal that we're having that evening. And then we went straight back to the resort and got to have our super fresh fish and chips straight away. So I kind of feel like I really enjoy the sort of food experiences where you actually get to be a part of it and get to contribute to it a bit more and feel like you sort of helped do that yourself. So that's always more rewarding, I find. Yeah,
no, guy was actually quite funny when he said that. He said, do you want to stop by the local supermarket to get food for tonight?
Yes.
And we're like, what do we were in the middle of a boat and we're like, what do you mean? And he just grabbed the fishing rod and started fishing. That was really funny. Yeah. That's a cool one as well. Yeah, no, I did really like this one. And the fish and chips afterward was so good.
Super fresh,
my God. Yeah, literally, like it was in the water like an hour ago or something. That was amazing, yeah. Cool. Where are we on? Extreme Talot. Again, we're reading every single one of the comments, so we're just catching up right now.
Yeah, we won't miss you out.
Yeah, Extreme Talota says, I'm good, just getting ready for the rugby league next month. How are you guys? We're doing pretty well, actually. Just getting ready for winter. So yeah, you're not going to see us.
We still have autumn left to go. It's not even end of summer yet, Robin.
No. It's too cold to go run over there. Crazy. Michael Connell says, I have sent you the photo looking through our roof vent at the IKEA. I will post it on Facebook after the 2 days show.
Cool. We'll have a look. Yeah.
Can you read Sam Smith next comment?
Sam Smith says, thanks for the car museum tips. Fantastic. You're very welcome, Sam. We have Michael Connell saying the Southwoods Car Museum on the Kapiti Coast is an awesome one. Yep. So that's the one I couldn't remember the name of, but there you go. Michael is always here to help. The Southwoods Car Museum. And I did actually think of another one. There is one in Hamilton as well. The names are usually quite generic, like Classic Car Museum or the Car Museum or something. So look up the one in Hamilton as well if you're looking for one on the North Island. Sam says, I definitely saw a spooky something in Lanark Castle in 2003 while staying overnight. It is haunted. Well, there you go. That is another person claiming that they've seen some spooky stuff in Lanark Castle. So yeah, I've also had some friends that did the tour over there that were saying they were telling them some spooky stories. So yeah, that's another good tip for Kiwi Lauren that was asking about the haunted places in New Zealand. Okay, and Abby says, I think a spooky experience was Laura's on the Inter-Islander ferry. You were scared, and it spooked me too.
The aliens were not coming to get us.
I didn't think it was aliens. Yeah, I don't really want to go into that very traumatic experience, but if anybody wants to watch it, they could check out our...
Oh, look at that. That's the picture of Michael.
Oh, that's so cute.
So I'm just going to share with you guys. That's what Michael just sent us. So that's the roof of his camper van, and he has two Kias, which are like, kissing each other nicely.
That's definitely what they do.
Yes, they're kissing each other nice morning on the
They're
roof
saying
of his
like, hello,
van.
honey, how are you?
And also there is the other view from his camper van. This is in Mount Cook. Look at that, guys.
Amazing.
Oh, thank you very much for sharing, Michael. That's really awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so we were just skipping over the Inter-Islander ferry incident, going on to EB Hunter's comment.
He says, where is the best place to score weed in New Zealand? New Zealand actually had the opportunity to vote and legalize marijuana actually this year. And the people of New Zealand voted against that. So weed is actually illegal in New Zealand as at this stage because Kiwi said no to legalizing marijuana. So for this reason, there is no best place to get marijuana in New Zealand since it's illegal. It cannot be found in this country. You cannot find anything illegal.
Nobody
anywhere.
does it.
Yeah, so it's absolutely impossible to find since it's outlawed. So yeah. Marijuana can only be found in other countries where it is legal. Go try the USA or maybe Amsterdam. All those places may be able to provide you with this, but it is impossible to find in New Zealand as it is illegal. Nathan Bates says, what was your best trip on your 365-day biggest gap year trip? Best trip. The best trip. So the best day, basically. Is that what you're asking? So I went on record multiple times saying that seal swim in either Kaikoura or in the Pornite Islands was my favorite activities. I love swimming with seals. I think seals are fantastic. So that I don't know. I keep coming back to this one. I feel like at some point I'm gonna kind of think I'm gonna change my mind, but no, seal swimming is my favorite so far.
Yeah, I think I'm going to change my mind for today. Usually I say Ulva Island in Stewart Island, which is basically like a wildlife sort of predator-free island. So yeah, basically the birds there are amazing. But today, since we've been talking a lot about Kia in, Michael's talked about Kia in Mount Cook, I've been thinking a little bit more about the Doubtful Sound trip.
Oh yeah,
that's a really cool day tour. It's a very, very long trip, but it's basically a good alternative to Milford Sound. From Te Anau, you can go. Basically, you do like a quick bus trip to Manapuri Lake, and then they take you across the lake, and then they take you on this really remote gravel road to Doubtful Sound, where they do a cruise in Fiordland National Park, which lasts twice as long as Milford Sound cruises. And on the way as well, while you're doing the bus trip, you stop at various different lookouts, and there was a ton of Kia around there, and they were all pecking all the buses and sort of being really cheeky as well. And just today that's going to be my favorite trip, but it does change often because we did so much and it was all really amazing. So yeah.
Abby says Robin is a sucker for all those big eyes, the first seals. Definitely.
Their big googly eyes.
Oh, they're like just so cute. I don't know why, it just works on me.
They're amazing.
Sam Smith says, what is the best website or forum to find out about car events or shows in Southern? Thanks. I wouldn't have no ideas. Maybe try some Facebook groups, I'm guessing, just to like Car Enthusiast New Zealand or something like that. But I don't really know, to be quite honest.
Yeah, I think that's diving into a hobby that we're probably not as informed about. I mean, Sam, you've been watching us for a while, as you said, so you know that if we don't know, we rather tell you we don't know rather than say something wrong. So yeah, on that we really kind of don't know. Mephisto Felix says, thank you very much. You're very welcome. Abby says, you mentioned Napier, guys. I'm surprised you didn't come up with your criminal names. Oh yeah, we didn't come up with criminal names.
I would be done, Robin.
Don Robin.
Yeah, like Don Corleone, but just Don Robin. I'd be like,
Okay.
just, on my armchair, just running the whole mafia of Napier and dealing in kiwi fruit and
dealing in wine.
yeah, here you go. And I will have a fedora hat.
I'd be Darth Laura.
He's not a criminal. He's
a space criminal, isn't he?
Oh Lord, that's funny. Darth Laura. Siempre la noite. Say hello. Hey, that's been a while. Hey, what happened to you? But thank you for joining us another week. That's really cool. How have you been doing? Are you safe and happy at the moment? Kiwi Loren says, does New Zealand have bike share where you pay for a code to unlock a bike from a rack, then you dock it again in another station? I've rented bikes this way in the USA, but I'm not sure where else it's available. Yeah, definitely available in Auckland. It's available in Wellington. I know they have some in Queenstown now. Clay, do you guys have that in Dunedin yet or not yet? Christchurch has those bike shares as well. So yeah, you get plenty. And you also have the similar one, but with the little scooter, the electric scooter. So you have those things as well. So yeah, many. Actually, I think in Topo they have it as well now.
So they have scooters in Topo.
Yeah, they have the scooters in Topo,
bike hire.
So there is a lot of those things. Really a lot of them. But usually it's actually cheaper to actually rent a bike for a day. It can get quite cheap. But and Clay tells me that in Dunedin they don't have the bike right now; they just have those little scooters. But yeah, the scooters are really taking over. I actually think that slowly we're going to have less bike and more scooters.
Yeah, I've definitely seen more.
Much more dangerous. Much more dangerous. Much less exercise. It looks like it's the way to go.
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, quite a few towns have it. Photo of a lifetime says the pies and burgers blew my mind in New Zealand. It's the best I've ever had. Nice. Michael Connell says he highly recommends going from the Seddon and to Hanmer Springs, staying overnight at the Cobb House Dog Park and spending the day driving through, reading the historical stops.
Oh, nice.
It's only open between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. and we're still finding dusts.
Just a week later. In all your camper van. Yeah.
Speaking of Kiwi Lauren says, speaking of getting ready for winter, we are getting ready for spring here in Canada, currently -10, which is tropical compared to the -51 that was running 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
You're crazy. Moving on from the craziness.
Yeah.
Ben, classic name, simple, says, what are the benefits of a gap year working holiday visa in New Zealand? Benefits. You get a lot of work experience. You get a lot of life experience. You get to try jobs that you may not be able to try back home and actually see what career path you want to take later. So that means that you may want to do that before you dive into a higher level of education. I will do it before, try to find your way and decide that the higher level of education may not be for you and you want to keep going with life as a simpler mean. You also get to make friends from all around the world and get yourself awesome amount of stays all around the world for free. You meet someone from Canada, then later you go to Canada and guess what? You can stay there for free, which is really awesome. But yeah, opening your mind as well. It's really cool. Speaking of opening your mind, you get yourself to interact with completely different cultures, both the local Maori cultures as well as just the local Pakeha, which is just the generic New Zealand culture is probably really different. So just seeing a different type of lifestyle, a different type of work and life balance as well is really awesome. Another benefit of gap year is that you may be able to actually take a trip much longer than what you will be able to do if you were just taking a holiday. Taking holidays is very expensive, right? Especially in countries like New Zealand, we're talking tens of thousands of dollars. But when you come and do a gap year, you can actually minimize that by working along the way and be able to pay for your stay along the way. You also get to discover New Zealand culture in much more depth than you are able to when you usually just visit, because you can stay in New Zealand for about a year. That is a much greater connection with the land than you will have by just traveling around 2 weeks. You also base yourself in New Zealand, which is in a completely different part of the world than most places, and that's an amazing hub to explore some of the most amazing pristine location that the planet Earth has to offer. You can fly from New Zealand to some of the South Pacific islands such as Tonga, Fiji, Niue, even Marshall Islands and all those places. which are so remote and so amazing. They are super hard to access from anywhere else, but they're very easy to access from New Zealand. So you will be able to work in New Zealand, save a bit of money, and discover those amazing culture. You can see the impact of global warming on the life of some people, which literally see the island disappear due to the rising sea levels, and see those kind of notion that are talked to and are very kind of fuzzy. You know, when you hear global warming and rising sea level, it doesn't really mean anything to you. But when you see that right in front of you, it makes a massive difference. You also get to check amazing wildlife. New Zealand has very unique wildlife. It's extremely amazing birds and amazing marine wildlife. You get to see whales that you don't necessarily usually get to see anywhere else in the world. I mean, in many other places in the world, you can see them, but you know, it's really awesome to see that here in New Zealand. So that's really cool. And on top of that, you just gain amazing independence. You're going to be left on your own. You've got to sort everything out yourself. You know, you have to do everything that you have to do usually for everyday life, but all crushed into only 1 year. You've got to open a bank account. You've got to do some paperwork for, you know, tax numbers and for driver license. You got to buy a car. If you want to buy a car, you got to rent places. You got to move in, move out. You need to apply for jobs, quit jobs, learn new jobs, you know, all those things. Usually it takes you so many years to get all those experiences, but you can do all that in only 1 year by doing a gap year. It is so phenomenal. And you come out like, you know, you don't come out more than 1 year older, but you definitely come out more than 1 year wiser. You probably get out 10 years wiser, and that's amazing. So I definitely think that everybody should be taking 1, 2, 3, I mean, as many gap years as possible before you actually start making life decisions and put yourself in debt into, like, you know, with college fees and this and that. Don't start locking yourself into a lifestyle that may not be yours until you have experienced different lifestyle and decide that which one is actually for you. I've done many gap years, as you can see. I do really like gap year, so I think you should absolutely do a gap year. Ben.
In conclusion, as you can see, Robin is very passionate about working holidays. But yeah, we both arrived in New Zealand on a working holiday, and it's changed our lives. So we definitely, we definitely speak highly of it. But we do have more information on nzpocketguide.com. We have a whole work in New Zealand section, which has a working holiday, category there, so you can learn all you need to learn about working holidays there, and also including the benefits of why you should go and do a working holiday in New Zealand.
I actually even did an article on there, which is for after your gap year, how to actually present your gap year and your gap year experiences on your CV, even if they are absolutely irrelevant to your career. Like, let's say you're studying to be an architect and you were a waiter in a cafe. I even did an article on the website which could help you on how to actually word that on the CV in order to show that you learned a lot of transferable skills and all those kind of things. So yeah, just saying. Anyway, Ben, take a gap year. It's pretty cool. Clay says, my mate stayed on the night of his wedding. Pretty sure we're talking about Lana Castle still. And while they were in the bath and the tap on the basin started running, we are plumber and no, this just can't happen. He also told me about the salve they were having in there too. Yeah, well, that's just the wine.
Yeah, I mean, most of the ghost stories I've heard from my friends usually included alcohol beforehand, so that tends to be a trend.
Yeah. Abby says, Robin is a sucker for the... Oh, I've already read that, but yeah, I'm still a sucker for those googly eyes of the seal. I still love them. Nathan says, what's the best place to start a trip in the Southern? The best place to start a trip, I think, is where you land, where you can actually get started. So if you come from the Northern End, the best place to start is from Picton, and because that's where the ferry comes down to. If you can land in Christchurch, it's pretty good because you will have more options for all your rental needs. Should it be car rental or camper van and everything. So if I were to choose one, I will pick Christchurch if I could get started from anywhere.
Yeah.
Okay,
I agree.
Action Talauta says, well, guys, I'll see you next week. I'm going for a run with a new referee. We're starting next month. Yeah, make him sweat a little bit. Damian Reyes says, which town is the most popular among students?
I think the most popular one would be Dunedin.
Yeah,
Dunedin has the University of Otago
and
there.
Enough pubs to entertain students.
Yes, it has enough nightlife to entertain students, but it has a lot of, it's probably the most popular student city in New Zealand.
Just because of all the pubs in the Octagons.
Not just all the pubs, but yeah, they have accommodation for students. They have lots of sort of places to eat. They have lots of awesome things to do. Lots of museums. Lots of awesome wildlife on the Otago Peninsula. They have a scary Lanark Castle there, which we've been talking about in this live chat. You can go to the haunted Lanark Castle.
Number one student activity in Dunedin, of course.
Yeah, so yeah, Dunedin. Look into it. Look onto nzpocketguide.com on our Dunedin section, and you can learn more about it from there.
Team Lusty. Ooh, that's a name
Lusty.
and a half. It says, hello there. You guys are looking lovely together.
Oh, he is lusty.
Yeah. Today, I want to ask, what are the probable chances of letting an international student in New Zealand as soon as possible? Any guesses? Our guess is at the earliest November or December 2021, but we don't think so. We think it's going to be in 2022. That's our guess. We do have a full video with our prediction on the channel. You may want to click on the channel name, then click on videos, and we have a full video where we go for 20 minutes. We go over literally like all our notes and all those kind of things. There's really a ton of stuff. So yeah, check it out. And yeah. Simpre Lanoid says he's fine, just a little busy at work. That's okay. That's okay. Just want to make sure that you are all good. We haven't seen you in a while, so just making sure that you're fine. By the way, guys, if you do find this video useful, if you find my rants about working holiday visa and gap year useful and everything,
they're passionate sort of speeches.
If you do find anything useful, hit the like button. We get 27 of you guys which are watching, and we get only a few likes. So, if we get 27 likes, that's awesome. It tells YouTube that, we kind of useful.
Kind of.
Clay says, not yet. There is just a couple of scooter company. We just read that. Michael Connell says, he said, event finder. Oh, that's a good thing. So someone was asking about, I think that was Sam that was asking about where to find events for car lovers. There is a website in New Zealand called Event Finder, and Michael says it's a good site to see the big shows or well-known annual community events around New Zealand. That is true.
Usually, most community events are on there.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that. But yeah, so that would be a good place to find the events. There's usually paid events, but usually you'll be able to find those things and buy tickets and everything on there. Abby says Don Robin and his pet fur seal. Yeah,
you can imagine him stroking his pet fur seal.
Kiwi Lauren says, cool, thanks. I'm excited to see what has changed when I'm finally able to come back, as it has been several years now. My heart is longing for Kiwi land so much. I love it. Sam Sims says, I love you guys. Oh, we love you too. Catherine Hegarty. Hey, Catherine, thank you for joining us. That's awesome. She says, hey, guys, greeting from New Jersey, USA. It's been a while. I hope all is well. I can't wait to travel again. All is well in Kiwiland indeed. We got the first vaccine in New Zealand this week, so it's good news. Abby says, Don laying out some wisdom.
That's what he does.
Yeah, that's right. When you don't pay, I punch you and I lay out your wisdom teeth on the floor. Boom. Ooh. Is that what you do?
Yes. He doesn't make a very good criminal.
I'm the worst criminal in the world.
Peptis says.
Peptis Nobody says, hi guys. What a long time. I had the chance to watch you guys live chat. Big hug from Belgium. Big hug from New Zealand. Baptiste. Do you want to keep reading a little bit?
Yeah. Kadan Adam says, I'll be going to uni in New Zealand as soon as Jacinda lets international students in. Very excited. Very excited. We have your fingers crossed for you. Hopefully that is sooner rather than later, but you know how it is. I'm sure you've heard enough of us talking about when not the students will be allowed in New Zealand. But yeah, the borders are still closed. Indeed. Where are we? Catherine says, I love your passion, Robin. I completely agree with you in the gap year. Yes, that was due to Robin's passionate speech.
That was due to me. Gap years exist. Due to my speech.
No, not the gap year. Okay, so Ben says wow, thank you.
You're welcome, Ben. Don't go to college. Just come and travel. Michael says, Clay will be in Dunedin in about 4 days' time, staying by the railway station. Gold 7-meter bus with the name Midnight Express. If you see us, feel free to say hi. Oh, that'd be funny to have you guys at the next live session sending us a picture of the two of you together. That'd be hilarious. I love it. So yeah, Clay, go have a coffee with Michael. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
And you know what? Bring all the kids, put them in a camper van, lock the door, and then run and leave Michael with them.
Leave the kids in the dusty camper van.
Robert says, Laura, he apologized. I didn't know that you cut his hair. That's what guys do. They rag on each other.
All right. Thanks for confirming that, Robert. I haven't met any guys, so.
She's not upset. She was just giving you some classic English sass.
Yeah.
Abby says, see you later, Don Darth and
Don
Mrs.
Darth.
Weetabix. Don Darth
Yes.
and Mrs. Weetabix.
Don't forget about
Catch you somewhere amazing on your playlist. Nice one. Well, tell us, you probably will be at the rhythm that you're going. You may be finished next week or the week after. So yeah. Nathan Bates says, bye guys, have a great day. See you guys next week. You're welcome, Nathan. Enjoy your day in Topo, if I remember correctly. Photo of a Lifetime says, we like you even if we don't push the like button. Otherwise, we wouldn't watch it. Lol. Oh, yeah, that's very true.
But YouTube doesn't know that.
Yeah, YouTube is a pain. To be fair, I don't
let the robots know.
To be fair, I don't kind of beg for likes super often because I usually find it cringy, but I always try to remember to do it one time on the live session just because it does help. Or in some way, I don't really know, to be fair. Those videos really, you can see on our channels, our videos don't get much like because, we just do thing that we feel like doing and we give information that we know about rather than making it all look pretty. So quite often there is no views, but it doesn't really matter to us. As long as it helps a handful of people, it makes us happy. Christina Holden says, Kia ora, Barry saw the video about the Patuna Chasm near Wellington. Have you been there? Curious about your thoughts on it, if you've been. I have not been there.
No, we haven't either. But yeah, I've seen photos of it. It looks pretty awesome. It looks really amazing. So, yeah, by all means, go check it out and let us know how it is.
Send Barry there.
Yeah.
You guys come us and tell us.
Yeah.
So sometimes we actually do. Although we do a lot in New Zealand, there are some things that we don't get to do. So sometimes we actually rely on you guys to actually kind of give us a bit of a feedback of like how that was, so then we can actually put that on the travel guide or not. Yeah. Robert says, Robin sure drinks a lot from that mason jar. In some American state, if it's clear in a jar, it's moonshine, and you know that alcohol is poor substitute for the juice they discontinued making. Well, I can't confirm or deny anything, but yeah, I do drink a lot from that mason jar, and it makes me very cheery by the end of the video. It's a nice 8 a.m. drink, very healthy.
Yes, definitely a good time for moonshine, 8 a.m. New Zealand time.
Speaking of moonshine, Robert, did you check out our video of the Moonshine Museum?
Oh, yes.
When we get to try the Gore moonshine. Look, I can barely talk now, I'm drunk. Yeah, we tried the Gore moonshine, and that is... That can take off paint. That should be used as a solvent. Clay says, I was just typing something along the line of that, Robin. Yep, cool. It was about the kids locked in the camper.
Oh, yeah, yep.
And then Clay has to type, but I'm a good father. I wouldn't leave the kids in the camper of someone else. Just to confirm, I'm a nice guy. Then that's the next thing you were about to type, right?
You don't need to type it anymore. We know.
I do yeah, Hokonui Moonshine, Clay say. That's the one. Hokonui Moonshine. You've got to try that.
The Hokonui Moonshine Museum. Yeah. It's one of a kind.
Yes. Ben says, yep, I'm tempted to not go to college in terms of New Zealand. What's the best way to travel there? By a cheap run around car, or is public transport very good? It really depends on what you want to do. Honestly, if you're on a gap year, I think you'll find it more flexible to have a cheap run around car. Just make sure that the money you spend on the car is money that you're willing to lose. It's still going to be cheaper than transportation for a whole year, for sure. But, the cars are relatively low quality, especially the car which are sold to backpackers. So just be aware that you may lose that money, as you may just literally lose the car. If you watch New Zealand's Biggest Gap Year, the video series we were talking about, where we do 365 days in New Zealand and do 365 activities, we film every single day, and you will see that we have multiple vehicular problems.
Yes.
And that at some point the vehicular problem become way too extreme and we've got to do something about it. I don't want to spoil anything to you if you're planning on watching all that and dream about New Zealand. But yeah, so just know that the money you want to spend on the car is money that you're willing to lose. You're not going to be able to spend $4,000 or $5,000 on the car and know that you're going to get your $4,000 or $5,000 back when you sell it back. That won't happen.
Yeah. So in New Zealand as well, there's also hop-on, hop-off bus companies, which will take you around the country. There's also like a national bus service that will take you around the country. And then in the largest cities and towns, they will have their public buses around there. But if you go on nzpocketguide.com, we do have articles. We have loads of different articles about transport around New Zealand, and you know, the pros and cons of getting a second-hand car, and the pros and cons of hop-on, hop-off buses and different transport. So you should definitely do like an in-depth look on our website there, and you will see what would basically be the best transport for you, because there's not really a best transport, you know, for everyone. It usually depends on your preferred style of travel and your budget, etc. So definitely go check out the information that we have on the website.
We compare like all the different options quite well. So
yeah.
And then if you don't find information that you want, so it's, by the way, you click on prepare your trip and then transportation. This is where you have all the information. If you don't find the information you want, just come back next week and we'll discuss about all your options if you want. I'm super happy to help. It's the same time every week.
Yeah.
Okay, Clay is telling Michael that he's going to swing by. So here you go, Clay and Michael are going to send us pictures. So stay tuned. Next week, you're going to see a picture of the both of them. Jonathan Vincent says, greeting you all. I hope you are all well. We are all well, Jonathan. Are you okay? You know, just, are you feeling good today? Just mentally, physically, is everybody feeling good? You know, it's just everybody's driving a little crazy, you know, like
no, that's just you.
No, everybody's locked in. Everybody's going crazy. Like I see it in the comments of our videos and everything. Like some people are a bit more aggressive and a bit angry and everything. You know, like usually we all have like, you know, fun comments and everything. And lately you get people who say like, no one wants to let us in New Zealand. You know, I'm sick of staying home. All that. Everybody's getting a bit more like a cuckoo and everything. So I just want to make sure everybody's fine.
He has a thumbs up, so it looks like he is good.
Good. Anthony says, stay safe, but I'm here until the end. Oh, and everybody in our house is already got vaccine shots. That was fast. That's awesome. Good job, guys. JG Oliver says, thanks for keeping us updated and always doing your best to guide us on when this crazy time will end. Oh, you're very nice. Thank you so much. Clay says, oh, no, I definitely wouldn't leave my kids with Michael. No, I wouldn't. That's not me, Joanna. That wasn't me. That was somebody else. No. Cool. Jonathan Vincent give us a thumbs up. Ben says, thanks. I'll be sure to do some research in a week. Excuse my ignorance, but do you live in New Zealand or not? Yes, we are in New Zealand.
Yes.
We're based in New Zealand. Been in New Zealand for about 10 years now. Laura, about 8, I think.
More like 7.
Well,
I think.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Kim Loren says, always good to tune in. See you guys next week. Everybody says goodbye.
Everybody wants us to wrap it up now. Come on.
Wrap it up. Adil says, Kia ora, Robin and Laura. Which island, North or South Island, offer the most handicap-accessible activities?
I'd say both.
Yeah,
really.
Both of them are quite okay. We do actually have some coverage on the NZ Pocket Guide right here, where we actually at least like what you can do in New Zealand with disabilities. So yeah, there's a full guide on there right here to give like more of a broader understanding. Like, you know, if you want to do a skydive, this is the kind of option that you can have. And because you can do some crazy activity with handicaps in New Zealand. When we started doing some research, we were quite impressed on how accessible some of those activities were, which was amazing. So yeah, so we have a full guide right here for you. Okay, you guys want us to wrap it up, so we will. Thank you very much, guys, for joining us. That's really awesome to have you on board for another week. Again, don't forget to celebrate Muffin Day, Handcuff Day,
and Kill Your Barber Day.
Kill Your Barber Day, according to Robert, and Love Your Pet Day. You know, celebrate all that. And you can handcuff your poodle in front of a meat muffin, and does the whole thing. Yeah, the whole thing in one go. In the meantime, we'll see you next week. It's 8 a.m. New Zealand time on Sunday. That would be live session number 116. And if you want to pick up Brain 24/7, it's nzpocketguide.com. And yeah, you guys are awesome. Thank you very much for popping in.
Yeah. All right, guys. See you next week. And thanks for joining us for our session 115.
Yes. Why are we saying the number so often today?
I don't know. Just because we started doing that. Bye. See you next week.